there's that level of like disappointment, like dang, I knew I should have went and saw her. But then there's also a level of excitement for the person that he would like to see.
Cool beans. Kala, you're next. What does Kala see?
Kala kind of sees death as sacred, and she's been up close to death her entire life. She's worked in the temples, she's been around dying people since she was young. But she doesn't celebrate death, but she doesn't dread it. And most importantly, though, she doesn't fear it. And I feel like in those last moments, it's like a candle in a dark room. And she's like hearing whispered prayers.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay. And then last but not least, Sabine. What does Sabine see?
Sabine sees an image of a friend that was super important to her, and she feels like she is reaching for that friend.
Okay. Awesome. So, obviously, each of these events that you each described would be happening simultaneously, and each within your own separate memories or visions, or however you want to call it. But as each of these visions kind of come to a close, darkness gives way to warmth. It's not sudden. I'd consider it more like a rising sun.
Or like pissing your pants.
Yeah, pretty much. Darkness gives way to like a rising sun behind your eyes, and you feel as the weight of your limbs almost starts to lift and feeling returns to them. And you hear a familiar voice say, come back to me. Please come back. You open your eyes to see scarred hands from old burns, tattered robes covered in blood that appears to be emanating from inside the robe. Blood drips from his nose and the corners of his mouth. You recognize the face of your old friend, Eldrin, but you notice wrinkles and scars that were not present at your last meeting. Baldric kneels beside him, whispering prayers. His voice is calm, but his eyes are red with grief and awe. Eldrin lifts his head to look at you, and for a moment, you notice joy. Real joy flashes across his face. As Eldrin says, "You are the last hope I had left. I'd have traded my life 1,000 times if it meant this." He then collapses and is barely caught by the age-worn Baldric kneeling next to him. What is the party doing, and what are you thinking?
Oh, crap.
Rhubarb rushes to Eldrin to see if he's alive. Very worried that he just sacrificed his life for my life, and will feel immense.
Okay.
Are we... Rook is going to look around and look at the environment. Are we in the same spot we were when we died, or have we moved elsewhere?
Roll me a perception check.
I would love to, friend.
Give me
It's a
1
natural
second. It's a natural one. I would say that y'all are doing the same. Does anybody want to give him some help?
I'll give you the help
I'll
action,
give him the
Matthew.
help action.
Hey, you do that. I will be right back.
I'm not kidding when I say I just rolled another natural one.
Getting them out of the way.
I'll just
getting them out of the way.
I'll just do it.
I'll
do the roll.
I'll perceive, he says.
I started this session with a 20, 15. And then my dice said, I'm done. That's it. We're gone. You used it all up.
You got a 19, Dylan?
I got 15. So hopefully that'll get us something.
Are we using Owlbear today? Do we know?
I'm in it currently, and there's no one else, including the DM, so...
it says that I need to ask to join.
I'm going to guess no. Oh, I just did the nearest link from the bottom. Did you try that one?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in it.
I rolled
weird.
1 too, and I rolled a 23.
All right, sorry, friends.
We
What was
per-
this?
We
What was
perceiving.
Matt rolled
You're
another nat.
perceiving?
Matt rolled another nat 1, but I just went ahead and did the roll as
Serious?
well.
You rolled 2 nat ones.
I got a 15. I got a 15.
Oh
But
golly.
pause. As much as I don't want them, I feel like I should receive some sort of consequence for
And
that.
that's exactly what I was thinking. I'll say, what is perception? You have disadvantage on wisdom throws for the rest of this session. With
Damn.
double nat ones, yeah. I'm going to say that's more than just perception. That's all wisdom. Rook's struggling with this. Okay.
Dead.
Yeah, straight up. Okay. Does anybody else want to try to perceive or do anything else in the room?
I rolled a 15 on a perception check.
Okay, and what are you trying to perceive?
If anything around me was the same as what I remember it when I went down.
Okay. You notice that, for one, the roof is now open to where you can now see the sky from inside the room. It was not that way before. You also notice that none of you have any of your armor, weapons, gold, anything like that on you.
We're naked?
We've been.
I would say that you would notice that you are now wearing robes of a sort. Almost, they would have the symbol of Ilmater on them, almost as in ritual robes or religious robes. You would notice those on you, but you don't see any of your former gear within sight.
Do I recognize the room that I'm in?
You would recognize it as the room that you did die in, but it is definitely different than when you died there.
We have been dead a while, y'all.
Look
I'm just gonna say
around
that.
everyone. And
Oh no!
are we?
Chandler, how long have we been dead?
Hey,
Baldric is.
I was gonna say I'm gonna turn to Pip and say, the last time you and I were healed by that, it was by was it by Baldric or was it by?
Is by Eldrin.
Eldrin.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't look older after healing us, right? So these aged wrinkles we're seeing are not a side effect of him healing us all. A lot of time has passed.
I grab my crotch to make sure everything's still there.
It's all still there.
Okay. Whew. Just had to make sure. Just had to make sure.
How long have
Baldric
we been
is
dead?
Baldric's obviously holding Eldrin in his arms, and Eldrin does not look good, and he's going to turn to you guys and go, look, we've got a camp right outside of the temple walls. I'll answer any questions you have, but we need to get him outside and get him taken care of now, or we're going to lose him.
Rhubarb scoops him up and starts walking outside.
Okay. What about the rest of the parties? What does
Atla
everybody else
is following close behind Rhubarb.
Fair enough. Anybody else?
Rook
Same.
follows, but as he's following, he looks around. And he says, "Did I waste my retirement?"
Okay, so I assume you guys go outside and go to the camp? Okay.
Yes.
As the ancient doors of the Temple Creek open, a rush of cold air, biting and sharp, rushes past you. Snow swirls across the threshold like ash, and below, cradle in the valley, lies Etherwin, visible from the mountaintop. However, what remains of it can only be seen. Once a city of humbled stone walls and vibrant red banners, it is now a skeleton of itself.
Ah, shit.
Buildings are charred to their foundations, homes collapsed, sanctuaries gutted from within, as holy symbols lie shattered on the courtyards. Anything from the party before we proceed to the camp? How does the party feel about this image that you're seeing of Etherwind down there?
Can you describe it? Can you describe it one more time for me, please?
Yeah, I can. Buildings are charred to their foundations, homes are collapsed, sanctuaries are destroyed. You see shattered images of Ilmater across the town, obviously from the distance, banners torn. Anything specifically you're looking for?
So it looks like the city was burned down.
It's destroyed. Various destruction, from just straight up destruction to burning to it took a beating.
it looks like someone actively destroyed it instead of like people left it and then it just kind of threw time
Correct.
together.
Yes. Correct.
Okay. Pip will you said there's a camp outside the temple?
There's a camp right outside the temple, yes.
Question. Who all chose sign as one of their languages? Because I don't have my armor and therefore cannot project thoughts.
Yeah, he would have to be only doing...
Correct. Yep. I speak sign.
So it's
so does Sabine.
I know. Yeah, Sabine does too. She was just we had ordered Dairy Queen, so she's grabbing it off the
Sabine
front.
and Twig.
Thanks
Right?
for getting me some, bro.
You're welcome, bro.
Yeah, Sabine, Twig, and Pip, I think, are all the ones that know sign.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Well,
this
I'm about to just mute myself and only message them from now on. Sorry.
Good to know.
is this camp past like is it down the trail a ways that we originally came up?
Not too far down the trail. I'd say, like, remember there's like a staircase right leading into the temple?
Uh-huh.
I'd say it's basically like right off the staircase.
Okay.
Maybe like not on the path, but like right off the path.
So,
Is the corpse that we saw as we entered, is that there?
Thank you, baby. You'd see ruins of the corpse, like bones.
That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for
Yeah,
any signs. We've been dead a while, brother.
What does the camp look like?
The camp is it's not a large camp. I would consider it like it'd be like if you and a buddy went camping. Like there's not a lot of gear. It's a small camp. You roll me a perception check.
Another 15.
Okay. You could tell that this is like they grabbed what they could and left. It's not a well-equipped camp.
And is it just Baldric and Eldrin?
It's just Baldric and Eldrin stuff as far as you can tell.
Whoa. Okay. I guess I'd turn to Baldric. What can we do? What do you have here that's going to help him?
He'll turn to you and say, "We just need to lay him down like actually at camp. Let's get him on his cot, and I can try to do some basic healing and at least just try to keep him here. I don't even know if I'll be able to save him, but he was sure this was the only way, and he was willing to give his life if it came to that. I'm hoping we can avoid that."
I guess I'd turn to, is it Kala or Kala?
Kala, yeah.
Kala. I'd turn to Kala. Are you feeling well enough that you would be able to help Eldrin here at all?
I can certainly try.
I think he's going to need all the healing he can get.
Yeah. What are you going to do, Cal?
I'll do my best.
I'll turn to Rook as he signs something to me, and I will communicate to everyone that Rook says that he feels confident in his capabilities of healing as well.
Okay.
Have at it.
Yeah, so what do you guys do?
Rook will walk in and prep cure wounds.
I want to. Do we still have all of our stats from the previous session, or do we have them renewed?
I would. I consider long rest.
Okay. I will give.
The longest rest.
The longest rest.
I give Rook and Kala both Bardic Inspo.
Cal, are you casting a spell too?
Yeah, I'm also casting Cure Wounds. So I'm just following close behind to where he's laying.
Wait! I don't have my flute. Can I? That's my source of casting magic, so I can't.
So
I can't give them Bardic Inspiration.
I don't have my focus either.
Yep. So,
As a
so can you
druid,
cast
do I
a
need
spell?
my spell to cast?
We all need our spellcasting focus.
Oh shoot!
What is the druidic spellcasting focus?
It's his quarterstaff, I think.
Is it?
Rats?
Cal, I'd say that you're fine.
What was that? Sorry.
I'd say that you're fine to cast spells. You could probably get away with using a different symbol of Ilmater. Might not be your specific what's the word I'm looking for? Like medallion or whatever, but that'd work. Okay. So Cal, as you
If we have something that could focus, that could function as a spellcasting focus.
yes.
Okay, just a moment.
So Cal, as you and Baldric spend time over Eldrin, he doesn't regain consciousness, but you can see his breathing start to kind of steady. And he definitely looks a lot better. He was very pale before, but the color's kind of coming back to his face, and his breathing is steadying. After that happens, Baldric turns to you and goes, "Okay, I think we're good here. Why don't we all gather around the fire, and I can answer whatever questions you guys might have, because I gotta imagine that y'all have plenty of questions." So he'll head over towards the fire. What do you guys do?
Follow.
Following you.
Following.
Time. He'll actually, before he sits down, he goes, "Wait, one more thing. Sorry." And he walks over into his tent, and he'll come back out with a very large duffel bag. Basically a big bag, and he'll kind of drop it in the center and go, this is what I could find to the best of my ability. I hope it's enough. As she opens up the bag, you will find your armor and whatever magical items you had gathered. If you had any general weapons, don't plan on those, and there's no gold inside of it.
Okay.
So, in that case, for Rook, your armor would be present.
No general weapons?
No general weapons. So if you had
Would I have
something that
my-
was a magical item, yes,
Do all
Rhubarb
our
would have
special
hers.
items?
Any specialty item that I gave you beforehand, you would have just regained.
But any other inventory is gone.
Any other thing in your inventory is gone.
So I have my
For
flute
logistics
gun.
reasons, are we going to get them back ever? Because I have a long list of things. I have a lot of stuff.
Possibly later if you like to track him down, but he didn't find him. Do
Sounds good.
you have a accessible list that you can send me and I can skim through it real quick?
Indeed.
Sorry, I was a wee bit distracted. I caught the end of we get to keep something. What do we still have on us?
Baldric pulls out a bag of what would be your armor and any special items you might have. So in your case, you had the Cloak of Protection. So you'd have your armor and the Cloak of Protection regained, but no weapons. Unless it was a magical item.
So not my quarterstaff then.
No
Bummer.
quarterstaff.
What about my flute gun?
Doesn't my
Your
shield-
flute would be present.
Well,
My flute or
my
my
shi-
flute gun?
Your flute,
my
whatever. Shield would count, yeah.
count as armor.
I would say Jared's quarterstaff is his spellcasting focus.
Let me replace those then. No shield, but you do have the quarterstaff.
Let's go.
You had a flute and a flute gun? I thought they were the
Yeah,
same.
I had like my holstered side flute and then my gun that is also a flute.
I'll let you pick, but you can't have both.
Flute gun.
Fair enough.
Hard choice.
Well, the flute gun is also my DOS loot.
DOS
So,
flute. Yeah, you don't have DOS flute. You've got the flute gun.
hey Chandler. Hey Chandler.
Yeah.
I've got a booty hole. You can go ahead and suck a fart out of it.
So as Baldric drops the stuff in your lap, and you have the gloves, the bracers. Just ask the question in the freaking chat. Stop texting me.
And you said that
I mean,
no
what
armor,
do
right?
they do?
They should be in messages to you, but yeah. Holy crap, dude! You weren't kidding. Why do you have so much crap?
I went shopping!
What the heck is a caltrip?
What's up? They're like little spiky It's like a 4-sided spiky thing.
If you ever
like an actual caltrip. Yeah, it's like you have an actual. What are you going to use those for?
Just to throw when people to like make things difficult for people to step on. They're dangerous. They deal damage and make it rough terrain. He's an artificer. I have stuff.
You have the periaptive health and you have the bag of holding, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, all my stuff is in the bag of holding.
No, it's empty.
Oh, that was in the bag of holding. No.
Well, somebody pulled it all out of the bag of holding.
It's this crazy thing. They just
brutal.
Okay. As Baldric sits down after dropping what's left of your gear, at least what he could find, he turns to y'all and says, "Again, I apologize, but you must have many questions. So, to the best of my ability, I'll answer what I can. But I might not be able to fill in all the gaps, but I'll try my best."
Question 1.
We alive?
How long has it been from now since we went on this mission to Etherwyn?
It's been 13 years.
Ugh.
And to be honest, since then, the world has only suffered.
Oh.
Question. What does the world think happened to us?
The easiest way to answer that might be to tell you what happened since. Because it depends on who you ask. So, I guess, are you ready? I mean, I understand if you want to take a rest, but I can lay it all on you now.
I mean, I've been resting for 13 years.
Tell
Apparently,
us
so
everything.
What Rhubarb said.
That's fair. Well, to be honest, we don't know anything about what happened in the temple. Last we knew, you went up there with the mayor, and next thing we knew, Ilmater appeared to us. At least that's who we believed it was in the flesh. But he spoke to us of purification, of pain made holy, and the people. I said the people, but we followed. Temples turned into tribunals. Prayer became punishment. The meek were broken in his name. I didn't see then, but I see now. We were deceived. I don't know who, I don't know what, but we followed. I mean, I followed. Baldric will turn over and look at Eldrin, laying over there, his voice slightly trembling, and say, Eldrin never believed it. He vanished for years, hunting relics, defying orders, risking everything. I didn't even know where he went. Before he left, he said to me that the truth lives in the ashes. I was even tasked with tracking him down, and I did for years, honestly, partially out of duty for who I thought was Ilmater, and partially out of just to hope that he'd found an answer. His answers seemed so few and far between, but I didn't ever find him, he found me. And it was only when he said he had a solution, and here you are, his solution.
Who was it?
We still don't know.
How did you figure out that? What was the turning point that you knew it was not Ilmater as they claimed to be?
Ilmater came and spoke to me through Eldrin. Eldrin and I had experience. After Eldrin came and found me, he had found Ilmater, the true one, and had interacted with him, and we couldn't get a straight answer out of Ilmater on who he was. We tried our very best, but Ilmater said he couldn't. He was restricted from doing so. But he was at least able to guide us in the direction of being able to resurrect you. And I mean, prior to all of this, you were our best hope, and now you're our only hope. So,
why?
Again, you're the only ones we could think of. We've tried building a resistance. I even formed the resistance. I was there. This is Baldric speaking. I formed it. I helped start it. We called ourselves the... Hold up on this. I didn't expect you guys to ask this question until later. We called ourselves the Red Cord. We tried our best to resist what we now realized was a deception of a false Ilmater. We did things that honestly I wouldn't even be proud of. Ilmater might not even be proud of. But all in the name of just trying to drag this guy out. And obviously, as you can see, it failed miserably. There's still sections of the Red Cord elsewhere, but we're not connected anymore. We're scattered.
Red Cord?
As in the Red Cord of Ilmater. Felt like it was a fitting name for the true followers of Ilmater, representing his cord. I mean, we bound ourselves to the service of the true Ilmater, and we're trying to separate ourselves from the service of the false one that we served for so long. He'll turn over and look at Etherwin from where he's sitting, and he'll just say, "The faithful turn on the faithful." I can still almost hear their chants echoing through the streets. Pain is proof, purity is fire. Yeah, I mean, you see that was an invasion force. That was Ilmater against Ilmater. That was brother against brother. Its own people tore its own town down.
Some god of pain?
Perhaps. I mean, that's my best guess. Is he's got some kind of something with pain, something with lies. I don't know. I can't figure out what he is. We had some individuals that we sent across the sea, sent out to Baldur's Gate actually to find some answers, to dig into some information, but we never heard back from them. I don't even know if they made it back to Serenthia Vale. Last we knew, they were taking off on a ship towards Baldur's Gate. Don't know if they found anything there, or if they ever made it back. What can you tell me? You had some interaction with him. What can you tell me about this interaction that you had? Because, I mean, he came from the temple. That's all we know. You went into the temple, he came from the temple, and you guys were gone. It wasn't until Eldred and I came here a couple of years back and found your body scattered across the temple that we could piece together somewhat what happened.
Can I roll insight on him to see if there's anything he's leaving out? I personally feel like he's being truthful with us. I just also feel I want to make sure he's not leaving anything out.
Sure.
Did we ever get the name? I'm looking at my notes.
Ooh, I got a natural one, so
You did not get a name. I was very specific on that. Some names were dropped, but he never said his name. You got a natural one, so yeah. I mean, you get disadvantage on your next insight check, but let's just have that as your effect there. But I will tell you, I mean, the rest of the group might be able to tell that he is visibly broken. Like, this is his last option. He's got nothing to hide and nothing to be shied away from. He's out of options.
What is the state of the capital?
It's fine. Honestly, well, depends on your description of fine. It's not destroyed. Etherwin was the only one that faced that consequence. Every other town in the country is fine. But when I say fine, it's still standing. After this Ilmater in the flesh, as he calls himself, showed up, he proceeded to tweak the ideas that we had previously had of what Ilmater was. Like I said, pain, instead of being something that you would take on for others, became something you would willingly submit to come closer to Ilmater. His entire goal was to break down the weak, get the weak out cull the weak from the group. our temples aren't temples of worship anymore. Our temples are tribunals. The weak are tried there and either put to death or punished in front of everybody else to see. It's, I guess, prosperity-wise, it's doing okay, but it's not the Luminara that you guys remember.
What? So this Ilmater in the flesh, like, appeared to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Where does he hang out? Like, what's he doing? Where when he's not, openly displaying himself to the public, where is he?
He was visible for a long time. In the most recent years, he's a lot harder to find. He'll show up occasionally at some of the temples, but we don't see him as much anymore. He used to be very blatant in our face. He led his people quite prevalently, but now he has his deepest followers that do his bidding for him. Like I said, he'll show up. Well, to make it even more blunt, killed the king in front of everybody. He pronounced the king as a wicked king and an unrighteous follower of Ilmater. Killed him in front of him, proclaimed himself the true king as being the god above. So, killed the king. My best guess, he hangs out at his castle. That's my best guess, but we could never get close enough.
What does he look like?
Like Ilmater. Every description that you've had of Ilmater does to this point. The broken god. He's an older man that you'll see often bleeding. He has red cords around his wrists, usually tattered clothing. But he's in this. You'll see why all of us fell so hard for it. He was exactly what we all thought he was. This was Ilmater.
Does he have any sort of weapon?
Not typically.
There wasn't a sword?
Not that I can remember.
Did you guys find a sword when we died? When you found our bodies, was there a long black sword?
No, there's nothing present.
My Gordon.
What's the significance of this sword?
So that's what killed us. So if I'm remembering right. But basically what happened was we walked in, we were fighting. The cultists were trying to start a ritual or finish a ritual.
What cultists?
We thought
you went up to deal with thieves.
Yeah, it turned out to be a bunch of cultists. I don't know who they were cultists of.
As you say that, I give Baldric a look, and I'll say the same ones that caused us to meet.
All was here?
But that's the thing.
His followers were.
His followers, but the guy who killed us says that he killed Ball.
No.
Killed Ball?
He said that his sword killed Ball.
My bad. I don't know how that's different, but yes.
I'd say the only difference is how sentient that sword was. Could that sword have been alive in its own way?
I don't think so.
It seemed to be
I
its own.
did a little bit more research after we ran into the Ballists the first time. After giving the information that you gave me. Side note, I would assume that both of you would have told Baldric and Eldrin the same things that you had heard from the Ballists. I'm specifically talking to Pippin.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Just double checking. I did some research, and Ball was killed by a mortal. His name was Cyric. We haven't heard much of him since, but he was killed by a mortal. I don't know much of the blade. I haven't heard anything about that specifically, but like I said, he's killed by some mortal named Cyric. I don't see how it has anything to do with what's going on right now.
Do we know much about Cyric?
Like I said, he was a mortal.
Did Cyric or anyone that matched his description kill other gods around that time?
There were... How do you say that? There were a few gods that died in the same span of time, but they all seem from Well, now that you say that, there were two
John
other
just asked the
gods.
right question.
There were two other gods that died within the next couple of years of what you told me.
Ooh.
One of them was Merkel. One of the other dead three. To my understanding, Bane even gave up his portfolio, his godly portfolio, in this chaos that ensued. And then the other one would have been Lyra, and she was the goddess of, I think it was trickery. It was lies and trickery.
The dead three.
Correct. Yes, the dead three.
What's the significance of that?
The
weapon was called God's Bane, like bane of the god's existence. If Serenthia killed one god, why not have killed the others? I mean, God's Bane implies multiple gods.
I mean, there was
rumors. Yes.
There was rumors of one god who replaced most of those portfolios under his own rule.
And who would that be?
We never caught a name for him.
What is the connection between these gods? What do they have in common?
That's what I can't figure out, but I don't see how this correlates here. I mean, we have Ilmater over here, and you're telling me that Baal and Bane are somehow related?
So we have a fake god running around. We know of 3 gods being killed. Merkel, Baal, and Lyra. And then the sword is called God's Bane.
God's Bane.
Do we think it's one word, or do we think God''S rhubarb can't spell? What am I doing?
I think this Cyric.
Cyric.
Why are we back?
Why are you back? Sorry,
I know too much.
Question. I had to shake my head.
And so I have to think to myself.
Yeah. Why are you back?
Yeah. Why not just let us die?
Because you're the only people that ever stood up to anything. I mean, you dealt with the Ballas prior.
But you didn't know that this was Ballas.
We didn't know that, but this was some other god, some other deity. I mean, when I say that it's been 13 years, I don't mean it's been 13 years for this Ilmater imposter to take over. He took over in less than a year through multiple options since then.
Well, that's comforting.
But Eldrin was certain that you guys could do what none of us could do. To be honest, I don't think that you guys are the right choice. I don't know what we're going to do at this point.
What would Eldrin have us do?
I don't think he knew either. I think he was just looking for something.
Is he awake?
Somebody, give me a check. Give me perception.
Perception? Well, it's
with
not
your disadvantage.
a 1. It is in fact.
That'll do.
He's
not awake. He's not conscious. He's not dead, but he's not awake. Baldric will turn to the party and say, if you don't have any other questions, I know Eldrin will have more answers than I have. Like I said, he spent years trying. Tomorrow morning, I don't know what Eldrin was planning, but he did say that by tomorrow morning the world would know that you've returned. And the truth would come with you. Just come.
Works for me.
Very well then.
Give me 1 second to put my ice cream in the freezer. I'm too distracted to eat this crap.
Do we think that this Ilmater imposter could be Cyric or Ball?
I think it's Cyric. 1,000%. Like, if I was a betting man, I think it's Cyric.
Do we think that Cyric was the one who killed us?
Yes.
Why do you think he doesn't have the sword?
If he can make himself look like somebody else, who's to say he can't hide a sword in plain sight?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that's a lie.
100%.
Wait, you think that he's hiding the sword, or you think that Baldric didn't, or he's lying that there's no sword?
I just think the sword seemed pretty self-sufficient. My thought is the sword could do its own thing, or if he's a god, I'm sure he could keep a sword with him and not let people notice. Like,
I guess that's fair. I just think that the sword is actually the source of his power, I think.
You think the sword took powers from the gods that he slayed?
That's a 100% a possibility. I didn't even think of it like that. I just thought that the sword was just powerful enough to supply Cyric or whoever is wielding it currently the power that they have right now.
Because
wasn't it glowing after it killed somebody and then it got longer? It seems like every time death happens it gets stronger.
Specifically blood.
The 3 gods that were killed was Baal, who that's supposed to be the god of death? Question mark?
I think it's like the god of murder.
Rook, give me a history check.
Who?
Rook grew up in the Sword Coast, so he would 18. Know this if anybody did. 18? Okay. You would know that Baal was the god of murder. Merkel was the god of death. Bane was the god of
where did Bane not come into? I say, did Bane die too?
Bane,
I thought it was Ball.
I said Bane wasn't dead, but Bane did lose his power.
Oh yes, because Ball, Merkel, and Bane are 3. They're
Ball, Merkel, Bane are the dead 3. Is typically what they go by.
And then
Lyra was the other one.
Trickery.
Yep. Trickery.
Okay, wait. You said Baal is the god of murder, Bane, god of death.
Bane, god of tyrants. Merkel, the god of death. God of bones is his other name. And then Lyra, I believe it's Leira, is the god of trickery. Goddess of trickery.
Yeah, so if Cyric used this weapon, killed those 3 gods, and somehow stole Bane's power, obviously he's going to get more power, or the sword could react when murder takes place. Obviously murder involves death, so that's a double power. And then trickery, we're talking about, we can't see this sword. It could be tricking all of its viewers, not only with its look.
Pretending to be a martyr is
exactly. Exactly.
Shaylee, for your notes, because it's cool, Baal is the Lord of Murder, and Merkel is the Lord of Bones. Bane is the Black Hand.
Black Hand, yeah. The Lord of Tyrants, right?
That I didn't see that when I googled it, but it was a quick read.
I'm pretty sure that's what his big thing is.
Yeah, I've written all of it.
And there is specifically the Lady of Mists.
Lady of Mists. Ambition, control, and tyranny are bane. Cool. Anything else before we drift off to sleep?
In the dead of night, I want to sneak away from everybody.
Interesting. Okay, I'll let you do that first.
Do we want to do like you guys go on a different chat, like voice call?
Yeah, how are you wanting to do this, Dylan?
Like, do you want the rest of the party to know what you do?
I want to sneak back into the temple.
Sneak back into the... Okay, go for it.
Okay. Like I said, I'm doing this in the dead of night, when everyone is supposed to be asleep.
Well,
okay, so are you wanting
over
everybody
half
else
of
to
us
deafen,
are like
or are you...
elves who don't even sleep.
But you
That is
trance.
true.
They're in a trance.
For
Yeah,
8 hours,
a trance, not sleep.
They sleep for 4 hours. They still
Yeah.
sleep for 4 hours, I'm pretty sure. What are you looking for, Dylan?
I'm looking
Okay.
for anything that can give me a little bit more information as to what happened that night or day that we died. I know it's been 13 years or so.
Okay.
But I'm looking for like maybe remains of like the ritual that they were doing there, or any other evidence of Ball.
Roll me an investigation check.
Cool.
Did you say that Dylan only has disadvantage on insight rolls?
Yes.
Like on the next
He just
insight?
said on my next insight. Yeah.
Next insight roll.
I got a
I've also been keeping
16.
track of that.
16. Okay. As you begin to search the room, tell me what it looks like. How are you searching the room?
Well, I'm kind of at first I start retracing my steps.
Okay.
So like when we first entered the temple, and had that fight in that first main room, and then I move my way into the next room and into the room where I died, and just kind of like I'd like to imagine that I look like Aragorn trying to figure out what happened to Merry and Pippin, but I'm sure it doesn't look anything like that. But I'm definitely
And
like,
it looks more like Gollum looking for the ring. That's your
yeah,
goblin.
he's kind of
He is a goblin, yeah.
He's scrounging around. Yeah, I'm looking at like remains and things like that.
Okay. As you're doing that, let's say that you go to check some remains, and as you're doing that, you start to feel your knees weaken underneath you, and your vision kind of starts to close in. I don't know if any of you have ever passed out before, but like, you know what I'm talking about, like tunnel vision all of a sudden.
It's a weird feeling. For sure.
Like you feel as it goes like that, to the point that you get kind of down on the ground, like I'm going down, and then it's black. For the rest of you, as you fade off to sleep, you feel the sleep kind of to come across you almost like a veil. It's just slowly drawn over you, but peace doesn't follow. Each of you awaken in a place that is not real, but it feels very real. It would appear as though it's a hall of mirrors, almost impossibly wide in vision. Like you would stand in this room, just like there's no way that somebody would build something this big, just full of mirrors. However, your footsteps make no sound. Yeah.
Do we see everybody else, or is it
everybody is present, including Pip?
Okay.
Everyone is present. Footsteps make no sound. Your voices make no sound. There's no sound present. But each of you has a specific mirror placed in front of you. And your reflections stare back at you, but there's something odd about each of your reflections. Something just seems off. You can't tell what, but something just seems off. As you're each staring into your respective mirrors, the images start to change. Again, these all happen simultaneously, but each of you would see separate things. So let's get ourselves another d20 from everybody. Flat.
14.
Rook's going to start us off again. Get rid of your disadvantage for the rest of the session.
Oh, no.
With your 2 nat 20s, we'll replace our 2 nat 1s. John rolls his nat 1. You're lucky it's on this. I see a 5 from Twig.
Emily, did you also roll a nat 20?
Are you serious? Okay. Pip.
I got a 14.
14. Rhubarb, what did you roll?
16.
16. Cool beans. Sabine and Rook. What is both of your intelligence modifiers?
+4.
I'm going to take a guess and say that his goes first. You're not +4 on intelligence, are you?
I'm an intelligence build, my friend.
I'm pretty sure that she's like maybe +1.
3.
+3? Okay, well, she's close.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Rook goes first, though. Yep. Okay. Rook, as you stare into your mirror, you witness a circle of bound women and children. At the edge of the circle, you see Everwatch Knights, and you watch as they proceed to unsheath their blades, and then do not hesitate as their blades begin to fall upon the group in front of them.
Rook punches the mirror.
That's fair. I'd say that's fair. As you do so, well, I'll come back to that. Sabine, you hear first a baby's cry echoing. You see 2 figures walking away from the Luminara courthouse, smiling as the cries from the child grow louder. You recognize them. You remember them. Let's move on to Rhubarb.
Oh, I'm gonna cry.
Rhubarb, you see a house at the edge of a town. Flames erupt from the roof. Inside, you see Anlana, trapped at the window, pounding on the glass. She doesn't scream, only stares silently as the smoke curls around her. Moving on to Pip. Pip, you see a goblin family. Charred and unmoving. The eldest male steps forward, burned but whole, enough to speak. Why didn't you save us? Moving on to Twig.
Twig,
you see a forest on fire. You recognize deer, wolves, bears, all manner of beasts that grew up with you, all of them running into the flames willingly. None try to escape as you hear the screams of both animals and trees. Kala, you see a woman standing before you, holding a rose. You know her face. She doesn't speak, but you hear the words, "You weren't strong enough to save me." She offers you the rose, and it withers in her hand. Moving on to, I believe the last one would be Veneer. Veneer, you see a girl no older than 12. Bruised, bloodied, trapped in fire. She looks you in the eyes and says, "Why did you do this to me?" Behind every mirror stands a figure. Cloaked in shadow, features obscured, grinning like he's heard a joke no one else understood. Then comes the voice, not from the mirrors, but from within yourselves. "Back from the dead. Didn't think I'd notice. You stepped out of my shadow once. You won't do it again." The mirrors ripple like water. The reflections begin to whisper things you cannot bring yourself to repeat, things that only you should know about yourself. The images shift, dissolving into something more immediate. Baldric and Eldrin side by side, reaching for you, silently begging, pain etched into their faces. They are drowning in light, white on one side, crimson on the other. You cannot reach both. The voice returns, rising like thunder. You left the world, now you've returned to watch it die. Your suffering has just begun. Now choose. Then the mirrors shatter, screaming as they break. You all jolt awake. Cold air lashes your skin, the fire burns low, your hearts thunder in your ears. Then you see them. Baldric lying on his side, his lips are blue, blood soaked in front of his robes. Eldrin on his knees, shaking, clutching a deep wound to his side, blood seeping through his fingers. Both are dying, both are looking at you. What do you do?
Rook walks over to Eldrin and casts Cure Wounds.
Okay.
Veneer's gonna spring up and look to see who just attacked, because I'm not a healer.
Rhubarb will do the same as well.
Okay.
Paula is rushing to Eldrin's side and also casting Cure Wounds.
Well, Beans?
I'm going to cast...
Are you still in the temple, Pip, or did you teleport to us?
Oh, yeah, where am
Pip's
I?
still in the temple.
So I don't know what's
Pip knows nothing.
You don't see what everybody else saw when they woke up. So what is Pip doing? Let's start there. What's Pip doing?
So I wake up in the temple. Is anything different in there?
Not a thing.
I want to cast Detect Magic.
Okay. Read me the wording of that spell again.
Yeah. Detect
I
Magic.
think he gave it to me once before, but
No, you're good.
I'm going to have that one memorized with how many times Dylan cast that.
Dude, I'm out here. I'm trying to detect, bro. Detect Magic. For the duration, you sense the presence of magical effects within 30 feet of yourself. If you sense such effects, you can take the magic action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears the magic. And if an effect was created by a spell, you learn the spell's school of magic.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop my ult.
I would say that you... I heard that in the back. That was funny. I would say that you don't detect any present magic anymore.
What do you mean by that?
What you mean, my boy?
There's probably something present before that. I think you could probably, without even any spell, guess that something was not right before. But I'd say at this point, you can't detect anything present anymore around you.
So there was something there moments ago, and now there's not.
There at least was some kind of presence in your head.
Well, shoot darn.
Pip, I'm going to be very interested to see how you talk this one to the rest of the group. Anything else from Pip? I'm going to count this as combat per se, not combat, but like as in it'll be round based. So yeah, you just used your action. Yeah, turn based. You just used your action.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to... I'm going to pull out my flute. My gun flute.
Okay.
And I'm going to start playing a tune.
Okay.
I'm playing a tune with the intent of trying to connect myself to any sort of deity around. It's almost a prayer that I'm playing. However, I'm not praying to anyone specific. I'm praying to anyone who might be listening.
Fair enough.
With the intent of seeing if I can hear anything back.
Okay.
Or receive anything back.
We'll come back to that. Back to the rest of the party. I heard from Kala that you were going to heal Eldrin. I heard from Rook that you were going to heal Eldrin. Is that what I heard?
Wait, both Eldrin? Why not 1 for 1?
That's just Rook just immediately acted. I don't know what Cal is doing.
Paula is kind of thinking that if they had to save one person, she would want it to be Eldrin. Not that she doesn't want to save Baldric, but
no,
it might
fair.
turn out that they need Eldrin more.
That's fair.
Cool beans. All right. And then I heard Veneer is going to be kind of looking around for what's going on. I think Rhubarb, you said the same? What about Twig and Sabine?
I think Twig's going to see them running towards Eldrin, and so Twig is going to want to go over to Baldric, and I also have Cure Wounds that I cast.
Sabine, what are you doing in all this?
I don't freaking know. I can't heal anybody.
Help us look for people.
Yeah, just looking for threats, probably.
Looking for threats, okay. The three of you that are looking for threats, give me a perception check. Let's do a combined perception check. Each of you roll your perception and we'll add them all together.
19.
It's a fat perception check.
John? That's a nat 20, my boy.
Oh, let's go.
19 plus 4, 25, 23.
25. Okay, so you guys are like up in the 40s, 50s. Okay. You do not see anything, but you do sense a presence that is lingering.
Rhubarb's gonna rage, actually.
Rhubarb's gonna rage. That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Let's cook. It sounds like, from my understanding, each of you kind of act without hesitation. You split your magic amongst different sources in the hope that you can heal both. You're not going to choose between the two. You're going to refuse to let either of them die. Am I understanding that correctly?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Who's healing Q again? We got Paula and Rook on Eldrin.
Paula and Rook on Eldrin, and then Twig on Baldric.
Twig on...
As you all cast your spells.
Baldric.
Thank you.
Yep. Healing energy rushes out towards Baldric and Eldrin. For a breath, for a second, maybe even a heartbeat, it feels like it might be enough. But then the presence that the rest of you three felt gets thicker. The world almost seems to change around you. The wind stops moving. The fire sputters and dies in the middle of the camp. And then each of your magic that you could all see working into the two individuals in front of you ceases, vanishes in an instant. And then a voice comes from inside each of you again. You were told to choose, but you chose nothing. And now you will have nothing. You hear a tearing sound, as if reality itself has been split. Baldric spasms, and Eldric gasps as their lives are taken from them. What do you do?
Can I cast Counterspell?
You can sure try.
Well, what you mean by that? What do you mean try?
You can try. It's a con save, so you can sure try.
Because I assume it must be magical, whatever he's doing, if he's not physically there.
It's a fair assumption.
Paula would like to try Revivify.
Rhubarb is gonna cast Longstrider on Kala. You touch a creature, the target's speed increases by 10 feet until the spell ends, and then I'm gonna use a higher level. You can target one additional creature for each spell slot above 1. Just kidding. I think I read that wrong, so just negate that.
Never mind. John, what was your spell save DC?
It
15,
should
16?
be 15.
Okay. Yeah, he's gonna pass. Cool.
Can I see anything? I have dark vision of 120 feet.
You see not a thing. You hear a voice Speak out. I am Sirik. My will is eternal, and this world is mine. You will not take it from me. As you hear this voice, his words almost get cut short. As he goes to say, you will not take it from me, you can almost hear it's almost as if his words are stopped. Another presence begins to fill each of your hearts, inside each of you. This one's a little different. It's almost serene or sorrowful. And you hear some more words. Suffering must endure, and so must the servant who carries it. You see a gentle, radiant glow blossoming from Eldrin's ribs. And where the wound once was, a golden handprint, soft and flickering, spreads across his body. The air warms, and the scent of crushed roses and ash fills your lungs. Eldrin breathes in, his eyes open, his wounds are gone. Weak but alive, he looks at Baldric's body and begins to weep. What does the party do?
Kyle's gonna immediately fall to her knees and start praying.
That's fair. What does the prayer sound like?
The prayer is kind
Okay,
of like
y'all are double miking and it hurts. It hurts my soul.
It is. Yeah, is it double miking still?
You're good. Nope, you're good.
Okay, perfect. It's kind of beseeching Ilmater to tell her what to do. She's like, if this is a test, I will endure. If this is a punishment, I'll bear it. But basically just guide me to do what your will is.
That's fair. I don't know that you get a direct answer, but you would feel some comforting presence. You would. I think for everybody else, that presence at this point is probably faded away. But for you, especially with the prayer that you just did, you would feel that presence linger a little bit longer. It would be comforting, but also almost sorrowful. You can feel the pain of someone who has lost a lot of people. Anybody else got anything?
I think Rhubarb just, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, Veneer probably sinks to his knees, just feeling defeated.
Yeah, I think Rhubarb is just, like, kind of paralyzed with a feeling of uselessness. I don't know any healing things. I'm just good at fighting things, and I don't see anything to fight, so...
That's fair.
Twig takes off a piece of his armor and starts tinkering with it.
That's fair. Well, I was going to say, how's Twig feeling? Because Twig tried his best to save Baldric.
Twig feels defeated and worthless. That a bit relieved that Eldrin came back in the end, but defeated. He's just standing there staring.
That's fair. Moving. That's totally fair. What about Sabine? Sabine's the only one I haven't heard from. How's Sabine doing in all this?
I was gonna say, I feel like I would suggest to the group that we should find if there's like a library that would have history books on someone experiencing the mist and, you know, going against Sirik specifically to see if there's anything that we can learn about to help us fight him. Because none of us have the education or knowledge to fight him.
So and clearly not straight to an answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to fix.
Cool beans. Where's Pip in all this?
Pip's still back in the temple. He hasn't witnessed any of this yet.
So is Pip going to make his way back, or is he just hanging out there still?
He's still in there playing his flute.
Okay.
How far away is the temple from the campsite?
I would say it's a good couple 100 feet. I mean, it's not too far, but it's a good distance away. I don't
hear it.
I was gonna say I don't know that any of you'd be able to hear it without some kind of crazy check. But I would say that there's a good chance that most of you would not be able to hear it.
Well, I mean, there is holes now in the building, right? Because you said it's old and decrepit.
That's true. Yep. So you'd still have a hole at the top, but again, it is a flute, so it's not terribly loud of an instrument, dependent on where you're at on the scale of it. So, like I said, with a check, I'd say that one of you might be able to hear it if one of you wants to go for that. But without a check, I'd say none of you can hear it.
I have
What,
Looks like
what's the
Rhubarb is
check?
going for it. I'd say probably
Go for it.
perception. Yeah, perception would make the most sense to me.
I rolled a 7, so I doubt.
Yeah, no, you don't
Yeah.
hear anything.
I'll give it a try.
Twig will
Okay.
perceive as well.
You're going to
I will
perceive as well?
say-
Okay.
Because I'm raging right now, I'm gonna go over to a tree and start punching it.
That's totally fair. That seems pretty fitting for Rhubarb.
Twig perceives a 19.
Okay, so Twig can hear the music coming from there. Are you going to do anything about that, Twig?
Twig will slowly turn his head towards the direction of the temple and say, "The flute! The goblin flute!"
Fair enough.
That
Does
is
the rest of the party say anything to that?
Probably turn to him and be like, "What? What?"
Rook can't hear shit.
Yeah, that's true. Rook's got no idea what's going on.
Rook is literally like, Rook was like, well, can't do anything right now. We gotta wait till Eldrin, whatever his name is, starts doing shit. So he's literally just like, he pulled off a gauntlet and is like tinkering with it, trying to fix something.
I think Sabine would say to the group, we don't have time to mess around. We've already lost a lot of time and we need to get back to work.
Rook can't hear you.
Then
Did
I
you
will
sign
sign
this?
what I said to Rook.
You can't sign.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
She's got sign language. Yeah.
Oh, alright. No,
Yeah,
I did know that. I did know that. I did put you in my separate signing chat.
You're arguing in sign language.
Eldrin-
No, you can't
yeah.
sign. Nuh-uh.
You can't
Nuh-uh.
sign.
Rook like looks up and he's like, "What do you want me to do?" That was definitely not signed. I lost track of what I was doing.
Eldrin will pipe up and all this. I don't even know that he's like trying to break the argument or even trying to intervene, but you can just hear him speaking in the back, saying he gave everything. Why did it have to be me? Why did I have to survive? I don't know what to do.
I've noticed that like I just feel gross all day.
I still can't hear him.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to hear this.
You were chosen. And that's a hard
It's the
position
will
to
of
be
the
in.
water.
I don't want to be chosen. I mean, that was the whole point of this, was I was supposed to give my life so that you could come back. So that I didn't have to... It wasn't supposed to be me that fixes this. It was supposed to be you guys. I'm not supposed to be here.
Think
But Baldric told us that
Sorry,
you
go ahead.
were faithful to Ilmater all these years. Do you doubt him now?
I haven't doubted him ever. I don't know. I don't know that I'm the man for this job, but he wouldn't want us to mourn. He wouldn't want us to be stuck here, not while the world is still burning, not while everyone else still suffers around us. Everyone's gone. The faithful are scattered. The name of Ilmater has been so twisted to something cruel and hollow that I don't even know what it means anymore half the time. Did Baldric give us any clue of where to start this?
He said that you would give us the information of where to start this.
Of course he did. Eldrin will look around and go, we're missing one. Where's Pip?
The goblin flute. I think I heard it towards the temple.
That's what you meant? Why didn't you say Pip was in there?
I'm kind of going through a lot right now.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Twig. You're right.
I think he's. I mean, what do you guys do? Yeah.
Twig, you
Rook,
heard it.
like,
Do you
Rook
mind
at this point
going?
looked up and was reading Twig's lips, and so he just gets up and he says, "Let's go get Pip."
Okay. So y'all head into the temple, I assume. Yeah, Pip. Y'all head into the temple. What does that look like? What's the interaction between Pip and the party? Pip was not present during everything that just happened.
Rhubarb barges in, thinking that maybe Pip was kidnapped, and that he needs saved. So I just start like yelling, "Who do I need to fight? Who am I fighting right now? Show your faces! Y'all about
Rook
to be
definitely
beaten."
does the "Hurry, did you put your name in the goblet of fire?" Like he walks up and grabs Pip, and with one hand he goes, "Where were you?"
Pip definitely, as like everyone like barges in, he definitely like stands up and like he clears his throat, kind of like not embarrassed that he was in there playing the flute, but definitely like trying to almost cover it up.
How tall is Pip?
Not tall.
Neither is Rook. I'm trying to decide if you would be off the ground or not.
Yeah, well, it's still possible to lift me off.
Goblins are typically pretty light individuals.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking more just
and
height.
they're not just small; they're light.
Would it have to be a specifically lifting him off the ground, or would that be a natural?
He just raised his shirt.
Yeah.
That's kind of more the vibe that I've got, as I've got him. He's just like maybe on his tippy toes, maybe, but they're both just very short.
Pip says he signs to you as best he can as you're holding him. He says, "I was just looking for more clues."
Rook, like
you mean you weren't kidnapped?
I promise. I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm not hurt. I did have a weird dream last night.
I think we all did.
Rook like lets you go and signs for you to go on.
I think I don't know. Did you guys? You said you had a dream as well. Everyone had a dream.
Didn't we see all of each other like in the circle?
I saw you in my dreams. Not in a weird way, I promise.
So we were all dreaming together.
It was all the same dream.
Rook
You guys were bonding
and,
as a
like, signs discreetly to
team.
Twig and just says, "I'm the man of their dreams."
I assume that Eldrin did not follow us in here.
Did Eldrin follow
I'd say that Eldrin probably did.
He did.
I think Eldrin's had a hell of a night. He's not leaving your guys' side.
Okay.
Did Pip hear the I told you to choose and now you've chosen nothing, so you get nothing?
You would have heard those words, yep.
Pip asks where. Well, I'm glad to see that Eldrin's awake, but where's Baldric?
Dead.
He's dead.
Big starts softly.
My boy.
Pip will say, well, I didn't know Baldric super well, but I mean, compared to the rest of you here,
He was our boy. He got us started on this path.
No, Eldrin did.
No, Eldrin was the high priest who was the right-hand man to the king.
No, Baldric was.
What?
Eldrin was the guy who.
I swear you said that Eldrin was top dog.
No,
Eldrin was your handler. Baldric was the right hand.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Eldrin was the apprentice of Baldric.
Yes.
We saved the wrong
dude.
dude.
I didn't know that.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
I think if anything,
Baldric had superior healing powers.
No, Eldrin did.
You
No,
say
Eldrin.
shit.
Correct.
Eldrin has the better healing powers. He's got the healing powers that no one else does.
No,
He saved
his are a
Pip's
minor
mom.
version of Baldrick's.
No.
Baldrick was just the
one.
right
Yeah.
hand. I don't think.
John,
he was
what game are you playing,
I'm
bro?
playing the same game. You guys said no. Chandler said
I've written this
Baldrick,
information.
who's the main
I
dude.
played.
Hey, hold on. Let me
Crazy
tell you.
healing powers. The only
No.
person like him is Eldrin.
Is that correct, Chandler?
Eldrin did say at one point that Baldrick could be the only person that could heal among a similar attribute as he could.
As
far as he knew. You've
thought
never
Eldrin-
seen it.
Eldrin,
PG
You've never seen it.
off.
Yeah,
Eldrin
you've never
said that
seen it.
Baldrick was closest to his healing.
Yes.
But
So that means Eldrin was better at healing than Baldrick.
Eldrin
Possibly.
doesn't give the suck
Eldrin-
though with his magic.
Eldrin
saying
did give.
Baldrick
I
is
don't
the
know that I'd
closest
ever
to my
phrase it that
power.
way, but yes,
Yeah,
Eldrin did do that.
he sucks the pain away.
Yes.
And
did do
takes
that
it
a
upon
couple
himself.
times.
But Baldrick, we've never seen it, but supposedly Baldrick had the same
Similar
capability.
abilities, yep. Had, yeah.
Okay.
But not
Similar.
better than Eldrin.
Possibly, I don't know.
Possibly.
You would
Potentially.
know it.
I think we still saved the right guy because Eldrin is our handler. Like we know that guy. Like we talk to him the most.
We know
Baldrick is
Eldrin.
like, we've seen this guy.
We know Eldrin more than we know Baldrick, I'd say.
Yeah.
At least we met. I mean, John and I met Eldrin first. But Pip will say, I didn't know Baldrick super well, but he did give us those wagons, and that was pretty cool.
Sorry, Shaylee assuming is the mayor dead? The mayor of Aether
king?
thing?
Oh, Featherwind?
Okay, yeah. Just double checking because he was with
get
us.
brought back with us.
Okay.
No.
R.I.P.
Now,
I'm
him and the
curious-
dudes around him got power word killed in the next existence.
Good to know. I'm curious to find the kid that I sent back to the city. See if he made it.
Try.
But Pip says, there is more. There is no progress in indecision. So we need to do something, whether or not we all agree on it, or whether or not we all think it's the best thing or the right thing to do. We need to do something. I personally.
Eldrin.
Oh,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I personally think our best move would be to keep our name and our organization under wraps. Keep it on the DL. Don't go.
Are we gonna have aliases? Can I be Big Bird?
If you would really like to, Rhubarb, you can be Big Bird. I'll keep my name though. But I think that if people ask who we are, the Shield of Grace is a dead name, and we're dead to the people. I think we should keep it that way. We're just a group of people.
I didn't like it anyways.
We're just a group of people traveling at this point. But I do think our best option is to go to the capital and to get the vibes as to what's going on there. I think we can find information and we can find resources that could potentially help us there.
Rook turns to Eldrin and he says, "Where should we go?"
Eldrin will pipe up and say, "There was a network. Now it's hidden. It's broken. They called themselves the Red Cord. I know Baldwin helped make it, but he was supposed to be here to help guide us to them. So I have no idea on how to find them. I just know that there are remnants of them
Well, he
across
also
the
said
country."
Baldrick was talking about like how it seemed like he didn't know how to get in contact with them.
Then I'm not sure.
So goal 1, find the Red Court. Is that what they're called? Right?
Yeah, the Red Court.
Find my stuff.
I'm sure
I
we were.
want my stuff.
I'm sure we were looted.
So we don't have the
sure?
200 gold anymore?
Why do you think I was so willing to give you guys so much stuff?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was pretty
That's so
suspicious.
I was like, yeah, you can have 200 gold pieces because you're not going to have it at the end of our session.
Yeah.
I think Veneer's gonna pipe up.
mean,
I think there's wisdom in going by fake names. However, if is Cyric,
Cyric?
if
SYC.
Cyric can just like
No, CYR, sorry. CYRIC.
project himself into all of us and see our innermost thoughts and dreams. I mean, he immediately knew we came back from the dead. All the people that we're going to be trying to avoid, like his followers, probably will know whatever new names we come up with because
Fake
he
names.
just has to look into our hearts.
But here's the thing, though. I think we have a connection with Cyric because he killed us with his blade. I think this is all just theory.
A game theory.
is this Dylan speak right now?
No, this is Pip.
Okay.
Pip is saying, I think we have a connection with him because we died by his blade and now we are back. I mean, we'll have to test this theory with actual, like, action, which may be hairy. But I personally think that not all of his followers know who we are. Unless Cyric himself goes to those followers and says, hey, keep an eye out for these guys. I don't know.
I think
and
he
I
could
just be,
and would do that.
Well, he's also under disguise as Ilmater.
Exactly.
So
You're 100. That's also another thing. Like, I think our best option is, I think we don't need to actually change our names. I mean, if you want to change your name, you can. I just think we don't go by the Shield of Grace. Because if the people find out and start spreading that could paint a very, very large target on us really quickly. One larger than we already have.
That's fine. 13 years have gone by. They've probably forgotten about us in all the tribulation and trials.
I'm sure if you found one person who recognized the name, who had enough hope, they'd start talking.
Yep. So drop the name.
I'd
Isn't
say
there
drop the
power
name.
and hope though.
Yeah, but I would almost compare hope to a flame. If you have a flame that's too small, it won't last on its own. You need to build its fuel first.
Rook looks, and Rook specifically sent message to Rhubarb. Says, you need to back up your shit. We can't back up our shit. There's no point.
I guess Pip didn't hear that, but yeah.
Like Big Bird.
You sure can, Big Bird. I think we need to get out of here, though. I think Cyric knows where we are, and I think hanging out here would just cause more issues. So I think we need to leave. The red cord sounds like where we need to go. We just don't know where they are yet. I would assume that the city with the largest population would have best leads for us. I say we go to the capital.
Rook looks at you and he says, agreed, we need to leave?
But wasn't the capital where the new king, which is Ilmater, is, though? Like, do we want to walk to his doorstep?
I'm not saying we go to the castle.
Capital is a bad idea.
I'm just saying this for note-taking purposes. Do we just have these two plans? Go to capital or go somewhere else?
I mean,
I can give
does
you
anybody
more
else have any
like
ideas?
that as well, but this is 100% on you guys to pick where you want to go. I can give you more city names if you'd like those as well. maybe some small
We're
description of
gonna
what those
pass
cities
through Aetherwind on the way. Should we
Pass
not
through
check
Aetherwind?
in? Should we not check in with Etherwind there with survivors?
Do we want to see if there's
any?
anything in the underground or something?
I'd rather not just walk through it and then have to backtrack.
Theoretically,
We can definitely check, yeah.
could we stop by? Would my cottage still be a thing? Because Rook is a smith. We could restock, and Rook could make a lot of the shit we need if we go back and go to my cottage.
It's been 13 years.
I'd say try. Yeah.
I could say we give it a
We had
shot.
some squatters, and squatter rights. It's theirs now. It's not going to be ours.
If someone is squatting in Rook's cottage, he will just go full nuclear on them. That's his peaceful little place. That's his little place to retire. Twig got to be there because he's cute. It would not work. No one else is allowed.
So we have a vote for capital.
We'd have to go to Aetherwind first, regardless. It's on the way. So.
Okay.
No, Aetherwind. Yeah, sorry. Ignore me. Yep.
All right. Let's go.
Is there anybody else in camp that we could talk to?
It was just the two of them.
It was just Elder and Baldric at camp.
Is there... Rhubarb wouldn't do this, but I'm going to put it out there in the ether because I would like this to happen. Is there any documentation that Baldric had that would be helpful, or like any notebooks?
I actually was thinking of asking that earlier. Rook would definitely look for like a journal.
That's what I was saying. I still stand by the library statement. I think we need information.
I think the capital would be the best place to get that info.
All of this is fair. So what do you guys want to do?
Rook is going to go search through Baldric's stuff.
Fair enough. Give me an investigation check. Are you guys going to do anything with Baldric?
Wait.
We should bury him.
Let me see that. 17.
17. You find a journal.
No.
I give you a second to work on that journal. I'm going to be honest. I wasn't sure if we'd make it this far this quick. So from here on out, it's going to be a little bit making it up as we go. So while I'm making the journal, the rest of you tell me about the burial of Baldric.
I say we burn him.
What is Ilmater?
Don't risk it.
Would know what an Ilmater proper burial would be.
That is true.
Yeah, what is an Ilmater burial? Can I roll a history check?
I will roll that for you, Chandler.
The power to bring people
Thank you.
See, that's my thought.
That's what?
Burn the body. Because if he's going to use it against us, then I think
that's my thought. There's a lot of bringing back to life going on around here. And I'd hate for our dear friend to become our enemy one day.
I mean, is this burnage going to destroy bone, though? Because our corpses after 13 years were for sure just bones.
But we weren't burnt to death.
No.
But
slowly withered away.
The bodies in Aetherwind were, like, there was a lot of fire and there's charred bodies in their bones now. So, like...
But I'd say there would be less integrity to those bones than just bones that sat there. We're also potentially just giving Chandler ideas for future sessions. He maybe had no initial thought to bring him back in the future. Maybe he did. I don't know. But us talking about this alone could just give him the idea to do so.
I don't know. He's thorough. He's probably already thinking about it. I think we should burn the body.
I think we should burn the body as well.
So,
definitely
I do have information about burial practices if anyone wants to make a check on it.
Yes.
I would.
Well, I would say, Chandler, whatever your, I don't know what DC you want, but I have the information once they make
I'd say, okay, just go ahead and make a roll, Kala. Yeah, make a roll, Kala. You would know this most of anybody, to be honest. History check. Go ahead and do that with advantage if you need to.
The 19.
Okay. Go ahead and tell them what that looks like.
All right.
Matt?
So normally, the solemn ritual is performed at death, known as the passing of a devout Ilmatari follower, whether lay worship or a cleric. It involves a chanting service that commends the departed souls to a Ilmater's embrace. Notably, any Ilmatari cleric who receives this rite cannot be brought back to life on Faerun unless Ilmater himself intervenes. Most clerics take this as a vow during their adornment ritual, choosing to forego resurrection attempts. Lay worshippers may decide individually whether to undergo this rite, with many devout followers opting in. The passing is typically celebrated at the first dusk after death.
Whoa.
The Church of Ilmater also emphasizes providing burial to those beyond mortal need, reflecting their commitment to compassion and service. And often a red cord or ribbon is tied around the wrist or ankle of the deceased and placed on the chest. And there's a general memorial vigil.
How does the party proceed?
Hala really wants to do this as much as she can, but she knows that time is of the essence. So she's thinking of a way to include some of the rites, but still act with haste.
I mean, I would even go as far as saying that, like, we could take the day to, like, gather up as much supplies as possible. I know Rook was very interested in finding his things, so if we want, we could try to look through the temple.
That was more Matthew.
Okay, never mind. Rook is not interested in that.
Rook will use his Tinker's magic to make a string, and he'll make some red string and tie it around Baldric's wrist.
Fair.
Other than that, Rook is just going to start prepping to go.
Cool. Anything else from everybody?
We gave him the red string. It said that we had to do some, like, chanting stuff. What was that?
Essentially, it's a prayer to commend the departed unto Ilmater's care.
Okay. And it seems like that's the priest.
That's a very Kala thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
She will do
I
that.
would just give that to her.
Okay.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right, so we'll say that you guys proceed with the ritual.
And you said that we don't have our weapons, right? We didn't get our weapons.
Not have your weapons on you, no.
Rook can make weapons if we can go to my shop.
So yeah, where does the party head from here? Oh, actually,
in that case, Rook will offer. He says we should go to my shop, and I can supply us, hopefully.
And I'm dumb. The entire reason for why you were doing that for me was so that I could do this part. So on said journal, you do find some writings from Baldric. Obviously, he's taken notes over the past little bit. On the notes for Etherwin, or in his most recent entries, you see some notes when they pass through Etherwin. In the notes for Etherwin, he says he has written down basically some brief points that there was a rumor that there was a priest that once gave their life beneath the bell tower of Etherwin to save refugees, and others betrayed the location for gold. And then next to that he has possible stash location with a question mark. And then right after that he also says possible previous location for red cord.
Okay, so that's a location in Etherwin. So
you also see beneath that a puzzle, a riddle. you would say. It says...
Pause. Who actually
Pause.
puts riddles in their own journal?
He does, because he has a stash.
Some people like to be mysterious, Matthew.
Just in case.
In case it gets stolen by the wrong people and they don't want.
He's got a stash of stuff, bro. Did you not see that? Possible stash location?
Exactly.
Question mark? The riddle says, a saint once bled beneath the bell. What they cannot save, they chose to sell. Find the hands that time forgot and offer pain to earn what's sought.
Can I get that in the Discord, please?
Yes, you can. How does the party proceed?
Rhubarb's not intelligent, but could I usher us to go to the bell and eat heroin?
It sounds like we gotta go to
Shaylee,
this
it
bell
must be
tower.
really hard for you to play a dumb character when you are very much the puzzle solver.
To my lot in life, I guess.
So where does the party go?
To Etherwind to look for the bell tower? Question mark.
Rook will say, I'm going home to get ready, then go to Etherwind. I don't think it's a good idea to go in unprepared.
What? Where is your home?
This is right outside of Etherwind.
Outside of Etherwind.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Go.
We should stop by his house then, because I think not having weapons is a horrible idea.
Okay. So I assume that's where you're going to go? Cool beans. Rook, please describe for us what your house previously looked like.
So, you think the most idyllic... Actually, let me find this picture. I have a picture that...
And Twig, you lived on the outside of the house, didn't you? Jared? You lived on the outside of the house that Matt lived in, right?
Mm.
So we'll need a description from you on what the outside of the house looked like, too.
The part that I stayed at was a beautiful garden. There was lots of flowers. It was surrounded by a little rock wall. There was a tree that shaded me. Just a nice little cozy corner near the outside of the house that
Cool.
I laid in.
Like, imagine you're just, like, super idyllic cottage in the woods, like, over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go type, like, just super cute. There's a little stream that goes by and it has the cottage has a water wheel to pump the bellows for the forge, because like a good half of the cottage is just his shop. Like the actual living quarters are pretty small and sparse. Most half to 2/3 of the cottage are taken up by his shop, and so he's got a pretty extensive, like, it's wood shop, armor shop, like just anything under the sun that he can make. All the tools and everything is there. And then there's also, Twig lives in the garden, and the garden is the part that's, flowers and vegetables, all surrounded by this low stone wall.
Okay. It doesn't look like that anymore, obviously. As you walk up, you notice that the stone wall for the outside of the garden is obviously crumpled in. The tree that once was quite vibrant and gave quite a bit of shade is not bearing leaves anymore. Actually, in fact, is split in half, almost like it was hit by lightning. You would also notice that the garden's obviously dead. It even... Somebody... What
check do I need to make?
What's your passive perception? Well, yeah, give me the check, Rook. Actually, no, I'm going to make Twig give you this one. Because Twig would know the garden better. Twig, give me a perception check. With advantage.
With advantage, alright. Sorry, just getting my info sheet.
As far as the house goes, while he's doing that, as far as the house goes, you'll notice that part of the roof is caved in. The front... Oh my gosh, dude. Okay. in a way, the roof is caved in a way that the front door is inaccessible anymore. It basically is just kind of collapsed on that section of the house. With your 24 as a perception roll from the garden, you would notice that there are quite a few sets of footprints that have basically trampled all the flowers and everything going through this garden, leading into a broken section on the side of the house. With the same perception check, because it's ridiculously high, I'll say that you can also notice that there is smoke coming from inside of the house, as though somebody is present.
Rook, okay, do you want me to make a perception check to see if I see the smoke? Because if I see the smoke, Rook is barreling through and kicking.
Give me that perception check. Give me that perception check.
12.
You see the smoke. It's fairly evident.
Rook's going in. So the front door would have led to the actual living space, and the shop would have been around the back. So Rook will go around to the back door to the shop and just he is his armor. He's wearing his armor because of course, and his gauntlets are powered up. He is going into battle, 100%.
Okay. What's everybody else doing? I mean, I'm going to guess that most people can see Rook raging into his house. What's everybody else doing?
Since Twig also saw the smoke pretty clearly, he's going to follow right after Rook.
Fair enough.
I'm just going to watch. I didn't need to come. I had my wand.
I'm standing next to Veneer. Still ready to come in and support if they need it, but I'm just kind of standing there it's his house. He can be upset about what's going on in it, and I'll just let him take care of it.
That's fair. Okay. What about Cal and Rhubarb?
I'm just sort of standing back, mouth kind of open, oh, rough, and just sort of watching it unfold, but making sure that he's not going to hurt anybody.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna crack some heads, dude.
Sabine, are you trying to get in on the action?
I was completely
I forgot to ask about Sabine. Yeah.
distracted.
I feel like Sabine is a fixer by nature, and she would be trying to come up with solutions of how to fix what's going on.
Fair enough. All right, and then Rhubarb, I think I heard you say that you were not quite there. So...
yeah, sorry, I was distracted doing other stuff. What's going on?
So, Rook is charging into the house. Are you following or no?
I think Rook got distracted by a flower. Or not Rook, Rhubarb.
Rhubarb.
I got distracted by a flower. So.
Rook, as you charge to the back door, tell me what that looks like.
So, Rook knows his house very well, and he knows that the back door doesn't sit quite well in its hinges, and so he kicks at just the right spot that it breaks the hinge, so the door just falls in, and he's got shield on, fist ready, and he kicks in, and Rook doesn't usually make sound. Most deaf people can still talk, but they can't really form the sounds quite right, and it's especially if they're deaf from birth. But he roars and he says, "Get out!" Just so angry.
Okay. Rook, you wouldn't hear anything, but everybody else would hear the scream of a woman as the door gets busted through. Rook, you would see a woman running basically away from you pretty immediately and picking up a young child and running into the other room as a man steps through the door with a sword in his hand. Roll me a perception check.
15.
You can tell that this man is not well trained in using that sword.
I think Rhubarb will hear the woman scream and rush toward the cottage.
Fair enough.
Rook is
Rook, what are you doing?
taken aback by what he is seeing. He was not expecting that, so he is really mad, and then all of a sudden just like the kind of feeling when you like walk in to like when someone's in the bathroom and you walk into the bathroom, you're like, oh, my bad. Like it's just kind of like a.
Fair enough. You can see him yelling, but you don't hear anything he obviously is saying.
Rook can read lips.
You can read lips, but I'd say that this man is like screaming. Like you know, like when you get to the point that you're like screaming, it's not reading lips anymore. It's just like their mouth is open.
Anyways, so yeah.
Could Sabine be signing to translate for him so he understands what's going on?
Is Sabine present? I heard that Rhubarb was running in.
No, I was following him. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you said that you followed him in. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's looking the other way. Okay. So how are you going to get his attention in a way, or how are you going to get his attention? I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm just saying he just busted through the door and is staring for what like.
It would be not advisable for you to just walk up and tap him on the shoulder. So you're gonna have to do something because that would result in you getting punched in the face.
I don't know. I could just see Sabine like angling herself in between them a little bit.
So like does Sabine like run in front of him?
Yeah, just like slightly, not like directly in front of him, but like to the side, slightly in front of him. Okay. In his view.
And what are you saying to him?
I'm just translating what he's saying so he can understand what's going on.
Okay. The man that has stepped through the door with the sword is kind of screaming at you, going, "Look, I don't want any trouble. We don't have anything. We don't want any trouble. Please, don't. I don't know what to do here. Please leave us alone."
Look like his shield. I'm gonna say for flavor purposes, his shield is part of the armor.
Okay.
So it's just gonna like slide along the back like it's on a track and just slide onto his back, and then I'll just go, "This is my house. Who are you?"
Are you using your magical item to speak with him?
Yeah, so that is cool. No, I would say Rook knows that that's rude. Rook is he would not message to someone unless he has previously gotten permission to do so. Like that's just that's not like even if he's angry, that's just not something you do.
Fair enough. So Sabine, are you gonna?
He's signing that to Sabine, but like he's looking at them, but he like kind of like has turned his body, so he's signing at Sabine.
Okay, Sabine.
I don't know. I think Sabine would just be kind of intercepting the conversation and just communicating it back and forth. What's going on?
But would you do like direct translation, or would
that's
you?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So what do you actually say to the guys?
I don't know. Repeat. What did you say?
So Rook specifically just signed, "This my house."
Yeah.
Who you? It would be the direct sign, the gloss.
Yeah, so then I think she would just repeat, "We want to know who you are. Why are you in this house?"
We're refugees of Etherwind. We've been living in this house for a couple of years now, just trying to survive. I mean, you can look at the state of the house. We're not. We didn't think anybody lived here. It was in ruin when we got here. We're just trying to make do with what's around us. Like, we didn't know that anybody still lived here. We meant no offense.
I think I would ask him, "Do you know who this man is?" and point to Rook.
I have no idea who this guy is.
Okay.
The meme in my brain was just like, "Who are you? I don't know this house."
Of this house. Who are you?
Rook, like you can like. If this were a cartoon, like steam would be coming off of him. Like he is obviously trying to like rein himself back in, and so he pulls himself together and he says, once again, "This is my house. What's your name?"
Names are my worst guy, dude. Thalen.
You didn't even give him a name.
Here he comes.
No, I'm making this up as I freaking go. His name is Thalen. He says, "My name is Thalen. As I said, we meant no offense. We just needed some kind of shelter. We've been living here for the past couple winters. Obviously not well, as you can see from our situation. We haven't touched anything. We haven't taken anything. We're just trying to get by."
Rook says, "What happened to?" I don't want to try to spell Aetherwind. What?
Aetherwind, okay. Honestly, the people went mad. Like, you had two different sides that were saying that they were trying to do Ilmater's will until one of them was willing to do what the other wasn't, and in one night it became a bloodbath throughout the whole town. And we were lucky enough to live kind of on the outskirts of town, so as soon as the screams started and the fire started filling up the night, we just booked it and ran as far as we could. We had a young child at the time. Now I was a little bit older, but now you can see we have another child in the other room, but you've already met and scared the crap out of. But we just grabbed and ran and found this place and waited it out, and nothing ever came of it. So we just stayed here.
Rook just kind of like nods. He's like, "Sorry, that sucks." And what is it nighttime at this point? What time?
What's it's night?
Okay.
Actually, I'd say it's probably early morning because you guys were resurrected at, late at night, and then you had the dream sequence. So I'd say it's earlier morning.
I don't think that they should know that we're here to build weapons because I think they would be asking us why and what we're doing. So I think we need to tell them to leave.
Is that your internal thought, or are you telling that to Rook?
I'm signing to you.
Rook like sits there for a second because it's like, on the one hand, that's rude. On the other hand,
It's your house.
my house. Rook just kind of looks at you and he's like, "Agreed."
So do you want me to tell him that then?
Yes.
Okay. We are here to attend to some business, and it's time for you to go. This is not your home.
Where are we gonna go?
That's not my problem.
We've been here for winters. Like, nobody's lived here. I've got kids. Like, where are we gonna go?
Just because you did doesn't mean you should have. You need to seek shelter somewhere else where it's more appropriate.
I think you would see visible concern on his face, and he'd say, "Do you have any other options for where we could go? Like, can you think of somewhere? Or like, do you have a means to help us get somewhere?"
Do we have
I think
any
at this
money?
point, Rhubarb is gonna step up and be like, "Listen, actually, you guys are fine." Because I'm assuming there's multiple parts of the building. Like, there's the armory, or like the bellows.
He said there was like one room and then like
The
mostly shop.
living quarters are extremely small. They were made for Rook.
We
And
have
that's
an
Got it.
abandoned temple we could send them towards. Says your conscience.
Hey, you're not part of this conversation. You
Says
decided to
your
wait outside, you
conscience.
coward.
Says your
I'm sure we can work
conscience.
something out. I'm sure we can work something out to where you guys don't need to leave. We're only gonna be here for maybe a day or two.
Rook like stops Rhubarb, and he looks at you and he messages to you, "This is still my house."
Yes,
And
I
he
understand
looks
that.
he looks at the people, or rather, he looks at Sabine, and he says, "Be nice."
I would sign to you. Do you have a tent somewhere in your house, or
He said-
any
it didn't-
provisions we can give them?
He would say, "It's maybe I had. He would say, I had.
Okay, can we look for
the man that's seeing you all like Thalen is seeing you all kind of freak out through all of this and like the signing and everything. He doesn't speak sign language. Is obviously kind of like getting uncomfortable because he's got asked to leave. He goes, look, what do you want? Like, why are you here? Like, look, we're here already. I don't want any trouble, but we're here already. What do you want?
Well, this is his house, so we are coming back. He needs something from his house.
What do you need from your house? Like, can we give it to you? Like,
let us figure this out, and then
I say, Rook looks at Sabine and he signs, ask if I can speak directly.
Okay, then she says he's going to speak directly with you.
And so
she doesn't ask.
Well, she doesn't ask. And Rook looks in expecting like a nod or something from the dude.
Thalen kind of looks confused. Like, what do you mean?
Rook just like literally. So this is really funny. The sign for magic is literally. So Rook just looks at him and just magic.
Thalen obviously still look pretty confused.
So I'll just translate. He says magic.
Okay, great.
So messages directly to him. Listen.
As soon as you say that, you can see the visible surprise on Thalen's face. He's like, what the freak is happening right now? Like, he just heard a voice in his head all of a sudden.
Yeah, so like Rook sees that he's freaking out, and then he just goes, look at me. This is my house. I own this. I understand that you have lived here, that you are scared, whatever. That is very difficult, and I am sorry. We will make an arrangement, but you do not have a right to this. This is my home, and I will allow you to be guests in my home, but it is my home.
What does that mean to be guests? Like, do we need to leave right now? What are you looking for? Do you need a place to stay? Can we not share this place?
Rook looks around. He says, you've lived here. You see that, one, it's falling apart. Two, most of this is a shop, not a living quarters. Sabine was hasty. You can stay until we figure out something better, but this is not your home.
Thalen will go, I understand. Is there anything I can give or do to change this arrangement? I got to provide for my family. I have to care for my family, and I don't know where else we're going to go. We can't go to Etherwin. That place is haunted. We can't go there. So
I think we would say, let us talk for a minute and come up with a decision. And we would all
back up. Did you just say haunted?
There are things in Etherwin that we can't. I would never bring my kids around. We're not going to Etherwin. I would rather fight you here and now than go to Etherwin.
Damn. Pause. Chandler, Rook would definitely have had a stash of like gold and supplies and anything, or at least like a what do you call it? Like a go bag, like his like specials. Like I'm thinking,
I get you.
I'm imagining the chest from the first John Wick movie that he pulls out of his basement. Would that still be there?
If it was hidden, yeah, I'd say it would still be there.
Okay. Rook looks at him. He says, again, messaging directly, I'm not cruel. I have a little money that I can offer, but that is the best I can do, given that I have no obligation to do this, but I will help what I can.
Why did you come back here? Like I don't. You've been gone for so long. If this is your home, you've been gone for.
In the eyes, it says, "I was dead."
Where? What? How are you back alive? Where? What? From where?
Not your problem.
Sabine would step in and say respectfully, this is none of your business. We're being kind and letting you go. If you would like to live, please take the money and leave.
Look,
We sympathize with your family and your situation, but we have our things we need to attend to, and you need to leave before things get...
He'll pipe up and go, look, I understand. I don't want to cause any more problems. But money's not a problem of mine. I have money. I found money in a temple. I don't need anything from you. I just need a place to stay.
You have money. Why are you living like a hobo in someone else's house?
Where am I going to take this money? The nearby town is destroyed. Destroyed by its own people. I didn't want to be anywhere near that.
There's plenty of towns. There's more than just one.
You guys, it's difficult. This is Shaylee talking about. It's difficult for people to like up and leave, especially when the world is literally in chaos and shambles. So like,
yes, however, that is not how Rook thinks.
Money would have a lot of bargaining tools to get help from other people, whether it's providing work for other people to build something for them, or
we don't even know if the money is still like has its value.
Look, I will give you all of the money we found. We found some items up in the temple as well. You can have all of them too.
Wait, you said you found items? What type of items?
There were bodies up in the temple. We took items from the temple.
Yeah, can you tell me what type of items? Like what the items are?
Rook starts to like theme again.
Various, I mean, there were gold on bodies. There were items such as resin, I think.
Did
is what we found.
Did you find a maul or a great axe? Possibly a big club?
We have an entire stack of these items back in the back that we've been holding on to. I mean, there are things as weird as caltrips in this bag.
People?
They were dead. What did you want? Like I said, there were weird things as weird as caltrips in the back on these bodies.
Bitch. You son of a bitch! Rook looks him dead in the eyes. I've said that like 3 times already, but like he gets up right in his face and says, "You stole from my dead body. Get the hell out."
You'll see visible fear. Yeah, you'll see visible fear come across his face as he's like.
Face to face is a strong term. If he is a normal sized human, Rook is probably face to navel.
But you would see visible fear come across his face. Maybe not from what you just said as far as threat wise, but from the fact that you just stated you stole from my dead body. You'll see visible fear come across his face, and he's going to immediately back up, grab his wife by the hand, and say, "We're leaving now. Grab the kids. Let's go." And
in this moment on Matthew's screen, it says, "Rhubarb disapproves."
They will grab their stuff, and he is still holding this sword and basically standing between you and his family. Maybe not in like a aggressive manner, but still, like I said, he's not trained in it, but he's still holding it in between. Like he'll swing it if he needs to, and then they proceed to walk out and leave.
Rook's like just pivots to the side and just motions to the door.
Okay. Yep. They'll go ahead and walk out of the door and leave.
Rook immediately goes to the because I assume when he said we've got stuff in the back, he probably like waved towards. Rook immediately goes back there and starts looking at the stuff.
Cool beans.
Is it my stuff?
It's definitely your stuff.
Let's go.
As well as everybody else's stuff. I will say, however much gold you had, keep half of it.
Okay, I can accept that.
So then if we have everything that we had before, we don't need to make stuff.
You don't need to make any change to your sheet. Yeah, you can just
continue. So then we should just look around for provisions to continue on.
It's true.
Rhubarb feels so bad because we don't even need to stay there anymore to make weapons.
Can I say something to these people as they're leaving? Be like, "What? Ooh, hi! Like, what you guys?"
Vanera, doing? You can. Yeah, I think you can say whatever. Well, but they're not going to respond to you at all. Like, you can still see the fear on their face, and you can also see as he's like, actually, roll me a perception check. Who else is outside?
That's a natural 20, baby. That's a natural.
Oh well,
20.
it doesn't matter. Veneer, you can see as he's walking past, like I said, he doesn't respond to you, but you can see almost like a look of like recognition in his eyes. Like he knows who you are. You might not know who he is, but based off of conversations he just had inside, he knows who you guys are, and he is visibly scared of it.
Shit.
Good job, Matthew.
I'm gonna
Good
go
job.
walk inside then and ask what the heck just happened.
When he does, Rook just signs to him. They were in my house. I told them to leave.
To where? Where did you send them to?
Not my problem.
Not your problem. We're supposed to be the shield of grace, taking care of the needy, those who can't protect themselves, and we just sent this family out into not my problem.
They stole from our dead bodies.
Our dead bodies. You're telling me you haven't scavenged ever or looked out in the woods and taken things that were not inherently yours?
Stealing is stealing.
But you've never scavenged. You've never killed an animal.
No.
You've never taken nothing.
Stealing is stealing.
I don't believe you.
Dylan is messaging me on the he is a follower of Helm, so that's fair. Dylan is messaging me. It sounds like his wife is. I think he's messaging all of us, but his wife is doing a video. But he wants to try to stop the family. So Dylan, how do you go about that? I'll keep watching your chat for a second. What do you want to stop them for, and what do you want to say? Okay. As you step in front of him, again, visible fear, and he's going to lift up his sword like he's ready to strike. Okay. Gesture that you're not a threat. We'll pause that out there. We'll come back to that. We're going to continue inside while your wife finishes your video. So back inside, Veneer and all of that was going on. So Rook claims that he's at no fault here. Which is totally in his right to do so. Now that you have all your gear back, what's the rest of the conversation, if any, or are we starting to head back outside to head towards the other one?
I mean, you couldn't have just sent them towards the temple, or if this was your home, you're not familiar with any other homes that are outside of Aetherwind? Any neighbors?
Rook looks at him and he says, listen, I tried. I got angry because they looted my dead body and I overreacted. I tried to offer them money or figuring out an accommodation before that happened. I did try, but I will admit that I got angry and overreacted. If they are leaving, if they come back, I am willing to make amends and try again. But I'm not a happy-go-lucky helper guy when it comes to, my stuff and my property and the fact that I only joined you guys because you asked me to. I'm retired.
I mean, you did join a group that's supposed to be selflessly helping others.
And then we died.
I would say Sabine says that she supported Rook's decision that they were acting entitled and refused to come to an agreement while we tried to negotiate with them.
Rhubarb is definitely going against that. Rhubarb, I'm going to include Rook and Sabine were being completely rude and not helpful in this situation. These are refugees and they're coming in, they're like, we're gonna kill you, or we're gonna be mean to you if you don't leave. We're like threatening you if you don't leave. Like out of nowhere. So like,
Rook, your first action was kicking in the door. What rational decisions did you expect them to make after that?
That is a valid point.
If we don't treat random passerbys better, there's going to be no one left to save. I mean, I assume we're doing this to save the people of Serenthia Vale, not just to get revenge. I mean, it's what our group was initially formed for, was to protect the people of Serenthia Vale.
I say Rook is not going to say anything, but you can tell that he's like having like a existential crisis, because as context, he was a founding member of the Everwatch Knights, which was literally a group founded to help and protect, because that's, you know, the entirety of like Helm's thing is to be a guardian and a protector. And so Rook is like, it's the kind of like, oh, he's old and jaded and it is remembering what he actually used to be. And so he's just like going full like non-flashbacks and just kind of like, and so he just like kind of like, and just walks over to where the shop should be and starts looking at the shop and seeing what the status of all the shop tools and everything is.
Dylan, did you have anything more typed for what you were going to try and do with the people? It's okay if not, but I think that conversation is over veneer all that.
Indeed.
Okay.
Is she pretty close to finishing her video? That's right, 5-ish minutes. Okay. As you all wrap up your interactions on the inside, anything else on the inside that you want to do while you're in there?
I say, is Twig alive? What is Twig doing?
Yeah.
Twiggy!
Twig's dead. Again.
He's just frolicking through the dead flowers in the garden.
Straight up, dude.
I'll text Jared and see if he's alive.
Yeah, you could. Rook, as you're in the shop, what are you building? Did I catch that you said you're building something?
He's just like puttering, like he's trying to like put everything back in order and clean it up, because like he's the kind who would have a little place for every little thing and everything is just like there. And so he's like puttering around trying to dust things off and put his shop back together.
Fair enough. Okay. Are you guys moving on from this place? Are you moving to Etherwin? What's the move?
I say Dylan just said for sake of time.
I saw the for sake of time.
So I guess if we don't want to deal with the on the spot made up fake people, I think we'd probably just move on and go check out.
Cool.
Distribute gear and.
Okay. So you've all got your gear. Okay, so you head to Etherwin. As you approach Etherwin, like I said, you see the ruined town. You see the wall in tatters of Etherwin. The once pretty. I wouldn't say it was a grand city gate, but I take that back. It was a pretty grand city gate. Like I said, this was a place that people would pilgrimage to go to this temple. They would stop in Etherwin prior to taking the path up to the temple. This once grand city gate is just in crumbles. You see, it'd be pretty easy to see. You'd see massive sets of footprints as though there was a pretty mass exodus from the town. And you can tell that the town is covered not in a thick fog as though you can't see, but there's almost a thick fog of, I guess it'd be like a feeling around the town, maybe a little bit of a haze around the town. But there is a definite like dreariness to Etherwin. What's the party doing? Where are you going to? What's the move?
Was it?
I say since
was any of our party from Etherwin?
Rook would have known it. It was not from Etherwin, but Rook might know Etherwin the best. You'd like to roll me a check, Dylan? I can tell you.
Yeah, I would say
give
Rook
me a
go to like the city center or like the main, like if there was like the tavern that was like the hoppin' place, the gathering spot or whatever, or like the town square, like he would just go straight to there.
Well,
okay.
What about the bell tower? Wasn't that... Sorry, if I misread that, that's fine, but I thought that was the reason we went. Oh, we just lost Jared.
Tragic.
Was that the reason you were going to Etherwin? Was the bell tower?
Yeah, that is true. So, I would say, yeah, Rook would probably just go straight to the bell tower.
Okay. All right. As you approach the bell tower, what are you looking for? You see a broken bell tower. The bell is not hanging from the top. It basically be almost sitting on the top with a crumbled top, kind of on the where the bell would normally be hanging is crumbled, and the bell is just kind of sitting there. The entrance to it seems mostly undamaged. You do see. Well, no, let's see. I keep wanting to give you guys stuff without making you roll. If you'd like to roll for something, I can tell you more. But as you approach the tower, what do you see? What are you looking for? What are you doing?
I think
signs of life.
I think that it would make sense if maybe Kala rolled for perception, just because if this city is supposed to have some significance in terms of like people visiting here before they go to the temple, I feel like it would have some influence. And we remember from our like post-mortem vision that we had in session 1, like this is where pseudo Ilmater appeared, right? Like he first appeared to this place.
Mm-hmm.
So there might be some significance that she would pick up on as a cleric priestess of Ilmater. And the whole riddle thing about a saint, like she's probably the closest thing out of any of us to a saint. So I don't know. All my vibes are her.
I say that's a valid point. Is the vision was like a post-credit scene for us as people, not as the characters.
I would say that Baldric and Eldrin would have told you that that's where he first appeared.
Okay.
Because I think he did say that, actually, that you all fought in the temple. Next thing they knew, Ilmater in the flesh appeared at Etherwin, coming from the temple.
Okay.
Yeah, should I roll for perception?
Sure.
The 21.
A 21, okay. There are no visible signs of life in the town.
Dang it.
Whatsoever. Okay. Pip's gonna cautiously go inside the temple. I mean, not the temple, the bell tower. I guess it would still be considered a church. There's the bell tower attached to the church, but he's going to go inside the church. Anybody else?
Rook would definitely go with.
Yeah, we'll follow.
I would go as well.
Sabine? Okay. As you enter the church or the bell tower that's attached to it, as you enter it, you watch behind you as the door that you all had walked through doesn't close, but basically the doors basically disappear. They almost meld into the door frame, and then you watch as the door frame begins to close almost like so. Basically resembling what would be teeth as the former door frame. And we will go ahead and end our session there today.
Hey,
No, I was literally gonna ask because I'm like checking out right now. So I was like, can we actually?
No, we're gonna end our session there today.
Did we just get eaten by a mimic?
Is there any chance that I can make some sort of dex check to jump out of the mouth before it closes?
No, it'd have been way too late.
Oh, rats.
Well, no, I'll let you do it. I'll let you and only you do it.
Okay,
Roll me,
because I entered cautiously.
Do me this. You did say cautiously. Do me this first. Roll me a perception check first.
14.
Okay, I'll allow you to make the dex check then.
Okay, is it a saving throw? Acrobatics check? What am
Do
I...
saving throw. Do saving throw.
Okay. Nat 20 plus 6.
Okay, well, yeah, you definitely make it out. I'll even say, with that, you're able to grab one other person and drag them out with you.
Who's closest to the door? No, wait, no. I want to bring Sabine with me.
Technically, I never said that rhubarb entered.
So you're still outside, so the other 3 are still in there. Me and Sabine leap out.
Crap.
Cool beans.
I say Twig
And
probably would have come with us. So
Yeah, Twig would have followed us.
Okay,
Cool.
I'm gonna write
We'll
this
go
down
ahead.
real quick.
End our session there.
Ooh.
Oh,
Dude,
crap.
all my rolls have been so mid this entire game, this entire session.
Until that one right there.
One nat 20.
Nat 20.
See, I was so focused on my stuff because I realized like I was trying to act like a tank last session, and I'm not a tank build. And I was like, I really gotta figure out like I got so much stuff and have I gotta figure out how to actually play an artificer and not just treat him like a paladin or something. And so I was like, I have so much stuff that I could use for this, and then all my stuff got taken. 2 separate characters at this point, so I gotta bring back.
One other thing that I'll text in the chat for this as well that I'll ask from all of you this week though before next session is how, if at all, does the 13-year time gap affect your backstory? I don't know if it would affect too many people, but if there is an effect for yours that I'm not thinking of, please let me know. Are you trying to say something?
I think.
Yeah. John, how do you
go.
spell veneer?
Vanir.
Okay, I've been spelling it veneer like veneers this whole time, so I just wanted to double check.
All good.
Now you see why I specifically asked about Goblin Age, Dylan, when we did our -1.
Yeah. I guess I just need to know if my mom. I guess I can find that out later, but I just don't know if my mom.
I think what I'd specifically asked about your mom's age on purpose, so I would know whether or not she'd be alive.
That's right. I don't remember what I told you. I'm gonna be honest.
Age-wise, I'd say she's still alive, but there
potentially
are
something else.
other factors that would be involved. But
Yeah.
So, and Lana is a wood elf, but she was already kind of older as a wood elf. I'm assuming she's fine because it's only been
I will
13
let you
years.
make that. I would assume so as well, unless you want me to say
Okay.
otherwise. But
No, that's fine.
and she's in the Sword Coast, right? She's not.
Yeah, she's in Faerun. Like
Okay.
she's not. Yeah.
Cool. That's what I thought. Cool beans.
It
At
was
this
the temple
point,
that they walked into.
temple that they walked into.
And they got trapped
yeah,
in?
it would have been like the chapel. Yeah,
Okay.
chapel with the bell tower. Yep. Yeah. It'll be good stuff. We're going to start next session in combat, obviously.
Oh. Unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
In case you thought that Teeth Tower was kind.
Emily, how do you spell Sabine again?
Sabine.
Perfect, thank you. I'm taking rigorous notes, you guys. I want you to know that.
I'm
so
thankful.
You're so good.
Because
If it makes you feel any better, I am too, but probably for entirely different reasons.
Entirely different reasons.
I tried
That
session
scares
1 to
me.
take notes, and I compared them to yours as you listed them all out. And I promptly said, well, it's clear that she's going to be the note taker of this session.
Like, I'm writing down, like, what you guys saw in your visions, what you guys saw in your dreams.
Yeah.
Like, I'm taking note of, like, all the little side things that happen to people during the session.